This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy!
Thank you for coming to 90ForChill, the podcast. This is where I like to give my trigger warnings and context concerns. And this week, my guest, Gregory Carl. Well, you know, with a PG-13 rated movie, I like to keep all my podcasts PG-13 rated, but after, 3 F-bombs in 10 minutes, I'm just going to leave this one as is, so you have been warned about the language. I eventually end up dropping one later in the show, so that's what we're interested in today. So if Beavis and Butthead was not offensive to begin with, we're going to make it offensive now. Welcome to the show.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
And welcome to 90ForChill, the podcast. This is your host, CatBusRuss is the handle that I've been assigned. If you want to follow what I'm watching, though, you can go to letterboxd.com/cmdarth. And if you want your Amazon Echo or Google Nest device to play the podcast for you, ask it to play Podcast by Russ Stevens, and you'll fill your home with the dulcet tones of yours truly. And this week, Gregory Carl returns to the show to discuss the 1997 animated classic, Beavis and Butthead Do America, probably the most successful adult animated movie, I'd say probably since, well, if you really think about it, perhaps Fritz the Cat, which is another film that Gregory and I discussed. The guy's got impeccable taste. Foul mouth, but impeccable taste. So we're going to revisit this feature, and we'll have our wrestling chats. We'll even investigate Tom Cruise's comedic chops. A little bit random, but that's what you come to expect from any kind of movie podcast. That's what I've found. Otherwise, if you want to be on the show, go ahead and send an email to rustthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com, and offer me a movie, a theme, a director, an actor. Just try to focus on sub 100-minute material to guaranteed a slice of fried podcast gold. Rate and subscribe on your favorite apps. I do reciprocate 5-star reviews. And if you want to talk trash about the show, do that at my Twitter account. That's at CatBusRuss. But even better, let's move on to Mastodon. My username is at RussStevens at mastodon.social. So with no further ado, I've been watching a little bit of AEW. Let's get on to the show.
What? Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah, do America. We're gonna score.
We're gonna be movie stars.
There's gonna be chicks, and we're gonna go to parties. It's gonna kick it. Ow!
Settle down, Beavis.
All right, so Boomer Siri says that we are on, and this week, Gregory Carl once again returns with his impeccable cinematic taste, suggesting Beavis and Butthead Do America from 1997. Of course, I am your host, CatBusRuss. All the podcasters will just call me by that. They're not letting Cool Movies Darth get over. Pure, it's, Illinois' premier CM. But I don't know. I should really try to. I really should just go and start a movie podcast, just a wrestling podcast, just to get that going. But
yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. I want to do I would love to talk some wrestling. I have no time for production.
Yeah,
a bunch of sirens and shit come down here too, dude. I never would know what's gonna happen on this street.
Huh. Oh yeah. Oh, yesterday I spent a good. Was it yesterday? I think probably Thursday. Like there's something going on the street ahead of me. Now, I'm living in an apartment where I got a discount initially on the rent because of a red stain in the bedroom. They couldn't get out. But no, there's always something there's something fishy always going around here. But yeah, they had about 3 cop cars, and they pulled a car over along the street, so they didn't try to get them into a lot or anything. So, needless to say, I was recording it, until I saw everybody was in custody. Like, I'm not,
We had a few fire trucks a couple days ago. One of them was my fault. Apparently, I'm not supposed to burn boxes. There's so many Christmas boxes. I just wanted them gone.
Yeah, I know. And you figure, what, you're in Lincoln, right?
Yeah, I burned a bunch of stuff last year, but...
Huh. You see, growing up in Morton, they don't let you do anything fun. So, I mean, we were... the neighboring towns, you have to convince them that, no, we don't have a dandelion law where you can get fined if there are dandelions on your yard. But
I've never heard that before.
Well, Morton is an interesting town. Morton, I wouldn't say that interesting a town. Pumpkin capital of the world. I mean, it's the best, but best known. But when I was growing up, we had 37 churches for a town of 15,000. So, yeah, a little puritanical. So, which kind of, well, it doesn't look that bad when you're driving up 155, but speaking of a puritanical town, I remember my older sister and I, 17 and 19 respectively, going to see the first showing of Beavis and Butthead Do America. So we were all a little surprised that, well, there was a little bit of backlash. I mean, it's a PG-13 rated movie. It's nothing compared to a couple of years later when South Park debuted at our theater, and we were there for the first night. But yeah,
I forgot this movie was PG-13.
Well, I mean, there's no home run R-rated scene. I guess if it was I guess you could say the entire finale that starts with Beavis whacking it in Anderson's camper would be questionable, but I mean, let's see, it was Ace Ventura When Nature Calls that he did the same thing. So it was a weird time. I think the next year was Saving Private Ryan, which, everyone should see this movie. So that's, again, further emphasized that we don't really care about violence. As long as you don't use any dirty language or show any nudity. So, I imagine... I mean...
I rewatched this movie today. It is very just childishly just dumb. It's gleefully dumb.
Oh yeah, no,
but it probably just seemed like it was rated R because I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead, but I did anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, my parents stopped us from watching MTV about the time my little brother was born. So that'd be 86. And my mom was just thinking the music videos were getting too risque and such, If
she only knew.
Oh yeah. So and then we kind of were able to watch it because my big sister was the Poetic Critic was a Michael Jackson fan, and so there were many Michael Jackson weekends. And so we were able to watch that, and then she got into David Bowie, and we went to see the Outside tour in 95, which was Bowie with 9 Inch Nails as the opener. So yeah, that kind of broke the mold. But junior high, I think, was when Beavis and Butthead started, maybe freshman year for me. So it was kind of like, yeah, no, mom and dad definitely. Mom, I should say. I don't think dad could care less. He was watching South Park with my little brother on like soccer trips in when he was in high school. So yeah, that's but yeah, Beavis and Butthead, I mean, this was the classic series that finally they could claim something corrupted their kids. Nobody, there weren't that
Oh,
many
yeah, the infamous kid that set the house on
on
fire.
fire. Right, fire, fire, fire. Yeah, of course that's the most famous, and I think somebody tried playing frog baseball, which was not on the TV show. That was on Liquid Television.
Yeah, Liquid Television was another one of my favorites. I had great animation back in the day, actually.
Yeah.
MTV did.
Oh no, they had a pretty strong stretch, I'd say, from Liquid Television. Then they branched Beavis and Butthead and Aeon Flux out of that, which I just watched the 2005 movie. And it's not as bad as the reputation is.
I never actually watched it. That's the one with Charlize Theron, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I never watched it from beginning to end. I've only ever seen bits and pieces, but it just, I don't know.
the CG, it's a heartless Matrix action movie, but there's a good enough twist in the middle of it, which kind of makes sense, and then simultaneously kind of misses the point of Aeon Flux. But no, it's not unwatchable. Which I'm just now realizing, okay, I'm in the credits with the Isaac Hayes theme song.
Oh yeah,
back when he that's what Scientology will screw, and it seems to screw anybody up. I mean, if Tom Cruise wasn't trying to kill himself every movie, I think we would have pretty much gotten over him after his entire Katie Holmes stint. But now he's just, he's working too hard to not like, I suppose. I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, I'll say that right now.
I wish he would do more Tropic Thunder type stuff, because that's my favorite he's ever done.
There's always been a I think, I can't remember the character's first name, but there's always been a Grossman movie in the works. And they just haven't been able to nail everything down. But it's been in the works since he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that.
Yeah, he was so fucking funny in that. And I never expected it of Tom Cruise. So Diet Coke.
I mean, I can't remember the other time Tom Cruise was funny before that. I'm trying to think. I guess
I don't know if there ever was. He's always trying so hard to be cool.
I guess you'd have to go all the way back to Risky Business.
Wasn't he funny in that though? I don't remember anything funny he did in that.
Oh well, he's playing off all of the madcap humor, like when he does his entire monologue with the Princeton representative as he's basically running a brothel out of his parents' house. And, he's just going on and saying, no, sometimes you just got to say F it. And after that interview is somebody who lives in Champaign-Urbana. Rebecca De More asked him, so how did that go? And he claps his hand and said, looks like I'm going to the University of Illinois. So I just kind of find it funny that probably the most prestigious school next to it's the school in the state that gets the most done. Northwestern's got the best writers, but most cultured, but the internet started in Champaign-Urbana. But and I couldn't get into University of Illinois, so it's more of like, and it looked like a trash school in the early 80s. Damn. But no, he doesn't really. He's now I have to look at his filmography, which is Tom.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead was crazy huge there for a good couple years, man. I
Oh,
collected the
well,
comic books, fucking all that stuff, man.
I can't say I collected much of the stuff.
Dude, I was in it, man. I loved Beavis and Butthead. I still do.
Oh, I'm not saying it. Yeah, I guess you say Tom Cruise is in Jerry Maguire, and again, you could say, well, he's not really funny in it, but yeah, it's a comedy. Yeah, he did Rock of Ages. Night and Day is supposed to be a action comedy. Oh, he's Austin Powers in the Austin Pussy movie directed by Steven Spielberg, in the third Austin Powers movie.
Huh. I've
Um,
never seen the third Austin Powers.
it's fun. Michael Caine is great as Austin's father. Yeah, but that really pretty much, like, he's always been the cool guy otherwise. Like, um, but I guess to bring it back to Beavis and Butthead, I guess you would say that they did their best to be cool with this movie, with Demi Moore and Bruce Willis as Muddy and Dallas Grimes, our base antagonists to the feature. And they probably divorced maybe a year later.
How they were never caught before. Like, those must be the most inept government officials ever. Like,
Well,
he was just and driving, swerving all over the road like the entire time.
it all depends on the town you live in. Like, yeah, I see that all the time in Champaign, Urbana, like going to work back when I was at a bank, and I had to go through the town instead of like where I'm working right now, and just have to hop on 74.
Driving across country through checkpoints and shit.
Well, the first checkpoint he played nice through, and then he was driving through the desert until he got back on the road. But that's again the worst thing about 9/11 is that we don't get good caper movies because of how serious we have to take the threat of mass murder now.
Yeah.
So, but basically, this movie is essentially a Forrest Gump with dick jokes. I mean, Forrest Gump is probably the most topical. Obviously, there's plenty of inept hero movies. I mean, Inspector Gadget never did anything on his own. He just let Penny direct him unknowingly. But let's see. Yeah, all right. Isaac Hayes, Forrest Gump. If we were gonna have to do a live action Beavis and Butthead, I can't see anybody. I think you'd have to be Butthead, but I could see Keanu Reeves.
Man, I don't know. You see, you can't do live action Beavis and Butthead because anyone you get would be way too pretty.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think
That's one of the problems I had with the new Beavis and Butthead. It looked like a slick Adult Swim show.
Well,
But
and
it's so funny and everything. It just it's shiny.
Are you talking about the Beavis and Butthead revival in the early teen?
No, I'm talking about the new one, Do the Universe.
Oh, I
started
haven't.
watching it earlier. I haven't watched it all, but
Yeah, I haven't watched. I knew they were getting.
thought.
I thought they were getting a new series anyhow, alongside Do the Universe, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's new episodes too. I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, well, and you say about how pretty the new show looks. It's kind of like, well, could you imagine the pain in the ass it was to make this movie because everything looks pretty in this one? Like, you see the depth in the rooms, the shadows, and everything, which definitely was not Beavis and Butthead on MTV.
Yeah, true.
And I mean,
at the time, but I mean, watching Do America and then Do the Universe, there's a big difference between the two.
well, there is, gosh, close, 25 years now. You kind of hope, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. Like when you say, "Oh, a nice looking Adult Swim show," and it's like, that's kind of a tough thing. Like that's kind of a tough thing to measure. I think with Adult Swim, most of the shows being Flash based for the longest time, helped it out because with Flash animation, I didn't get too deep into it when I was getting my web designer certificate, but it was just so easy to like, and that's why everything's computer now anyhow. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to create the wireframes, but once you have them,
Yeah.
you're just manipulating them. I don't think it takes that much of a coder, which is probably wrong, which is probably why most video games look like crap upon release. And it's kind of like, gosh, I like the joke that the pinnacle of gaming was the Super Nintendo, but let's be realistic. Maybe it was the PlayStation 2. I'd say Sega Dreamcast, but I'm just a Sega I'm just a elitist.
You ever beat the Sega game?
I'm sorry?
You ever beat the Sega game?
Of Beavis and Butthead, I don't know anybody who had.
Me neither.
Yeah, it made it onto Angry Video Game Nerd, and it looks like the Super Nintendo that was actually the playable one. But I mean that was interesting because you did it because they incorporated war into that game.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, and I did eventually see Gwar in East Peoria, let's say 2000, maybe 2009. Yeah.
I was at that show.
Ah. Yeah. That was
They had that band open.
I'm sorry?
They had that Canadian band open.
I can't remember the...
I just remember they had that one song it was on one of the Guitar Hero games, and they got kind of popular off that, and then they just kind of fizzled away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. It's like...
See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so I made it a point though to be kind of in the back of the crowd. I wasn't up for the blood spilling. I think there's only one band I've gotten up and close and personal with, really. That's
KMFDM?
I'm sorry?
KMFDM?
Okay, no, I have been up close pretty much every show I've seen them, and I'd say that for most industrial bands. But it's not industrial music can get weird because you got people doing that electronic dance music dancing, which kind of looks like they're skanking like it's ska music. So you kind of get that. Like I saw that when I saw My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. Not so much Lords of Acid, Pig. But KMFD, I mean, I'll get up and move my fist. Like usually I like the last major show I've seen like in an arena was Muse in 2013. I mean I saw Nine Inch Nails at the amphitheater up in Tinley Park in 2014, but I don't like to be in crowds jumping on top of each other, moshing, or back when I saw Nine Inch Nails in '95, seeing Trent drop a keyboard into the crowd just for kicks. And honestly, it was like I'd say it took 20 years for Nine Inch Nails to finally get the live show nailed down, but they've done it.
I've never seen Nine Inch Nails live. I'd like to someday.
Yeah, I saw the first time I saw them was opening for Bowie, which is awesome because you had when they did a transition instead of just changing sets. So you got Bowie and Nine Inch Nails performing about 3 or 4 songs together. A duet for Hurt. Second time I saw them was at the U of I, which was an interesting venue. I mean, I think they probably sold 10,000 tickets, but they cut the arena in half for it. So, and I'm still upset that Tony Khan has not brought AEW back to Champaign. Like, we didn't shout ILL. We didn't respond to his ILL with INI strong enough. I don't know. Freaking Mark. I mean, WWE's come back.
I lost complete interest when CM Punk went away and he announced the best of 7 trios tournament. Like, all right, fuck you. I don't need this.
Oh, the trios tournament's been awesome.
Best kiss my ass.
Oh,
I
no,
don't have a championship then. How about that? You only got 2 fucking trios teams.
well, no, you've got 3. You got Dark Order still a thing. You got Best Friends. You've got a division. It's just that you really got to prove that that the Elite were the top team, and you can't. And if you don't do a best of 7, then you're burying Death Triangle, and it's
that's stupid. You don't need a best of 7 tournament to do that.
Yes, you do.
Over and over and over and over again.
And they keep doing it better and better and better each time. That's what happens when you do a best of 7. Booker T versus Chris Benoit was awesome. Like,
hey, while we're on this subject, and you brought him up, you see, I saw some highlights of the Wrestle Kingdom.
I've already watched. Yeah, I have at JPW World. I'm disappointed that I could not arrange my sleep schedule.
I'm disappointed Will Ospreay didn't win that title.
No, it builds up for Forbidden Door 2, where Kenny will beat him again, and then you save it for Wrestle Kingdom 18, where Ospreay gets his win back. No, it's how you do. No, it's long-term booking, man. I'm all like, AEW is still doing its best to make it look like sport, which is something like the angle right now with MJF and Bryan Danielson. It's all right, so you have to be the number 1 contender. You have to go through the rankings. So you're gonna have to win for the next 7 weeks. And then Danielson agrees to it, but they've agreed to an Iron Man match at Revolution if Danielson makes it. So,
that is something that MJF does. I'm kind of getting tired of his whole, no, you have to beat these 7 people until you get to me. And like, we've already done that. You've done that with the last guy and the guy before that, probably.
He's done it with he said, I have a tendency to do that. He even recognizes that. Yeah, he made Wardlow go through 5 stages, Jericho through 5 stages, Cody through 5 stages. I mean, again, I'm all about it. Like, when you only have 4 pay-per-views a year, like that's that you gotta make every, and it, I don't know. WWE is gonna go to shit pretty soon since McMahon's coming back.
Oh, it still mostly is. I don't think he's going to come back and do anything creative. He's going to come back and sell the fucker.
To the Saudis, that's the biggest, that's the people in the lead right now. Which, I don't know what to say.
I mean, let's be honest, neither one's been great for a little while.
Oh.
They each have their moments, and that's about it.
Oh, nah. I have been I'm a guy who worked on the indies who never, like, Ring of Honor was my goal. Like, would I take a WWE contract? Yeah, I would take a 6-figure deal, one shot. And granted, it's not a 6-figure deal. You got to go through NXT where you got a $500 per week check. And if you don't make it to the main roster, you're screwed. But, I mean, it's, for me, like, my trainer, he was making Danny Daniels was making $150 a match when I was with him. Three nights a week, that's $450. Yeah, you got to do a day job still, but that's pretty good money. So no. So yeah, but I'm an indie guy. That's me. Like, I believe the screw job was a work. So I got over my hating Vince McMahon for screwing Brett. But yeah, it's but let's see. All right. But again, with the Beavis and Butthead Do America, you have your villains, Dallas and Muddy, and honestly, they're better villains than most, I would say. I say that after watching Under Siege recently, and it's like these characters don't monologue.
Yeah, they are like more. They're kind of. I don't know if this is the right word. They're more realistic, kind of.
Yeah, well, I
like
mean,
guys, but I don't believe for a second that they were able to pull off a heist at a government facility. They
yeah,
just seem far too inept to be able to do that. And
that's
steal top secret biological weapon. No, I that's too far.
yeah, it's it's a MacGuffin.
They seem more like drug dealers.
Oh yeah, no, that's more along their lines, but that's yeah.
But they
But
said they're mom and pop arms smugglers, specifically arms smugglers.
yeah, which even with arms smuggling, a mom and pop can do that. Drug dealing, yeah. No, this is like the big score, and that's probably why they're trying to kill each other. You know, this is the score. So, but when you talk about the authorities in this, you know, being inept, well, you have Robert Stack being obsessed with cavity searches.
So funny. Roto Rooter, don't stop till you reach the back
of their teeth. And you know, I don't know what to say though. It's kind of like Robert Stack is the voice of authority when it comes to the 1990s.
Which what makes all those lines funnier too, because he delivers them very straight.
Well, and he did that all the way back in Airplane in 1980, but it like it's one of those weird things that Robert Stack didn't have those Leslie Nielsen opportunities. Like, all right, he did. Well, he was in.
Yeah, he was very serious, but then so was Leslie Nielsen back in the day too.
Right,
though.
and that's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird that Robert Stack didn't get those offers.
Well, I think that's what makes those guys funnier too, though, is they're very classically trained and just.
Oh yeah, and that's why Leslie Nielsen was able to do it. And I think if I listened to, I listened to a couple other podcasts. Not a Strong Start out of California, and the No on 15 all cast out of Chicagoland. And they were talking about one of them was talking about, they're going to redo the Naked Gun. I mean, I heard the Fletch remake the Fletch sequel was good, so I'm not going to poo-poo on it. And they're going to use
John Hamm. I just found out that existed the other day.
Yes. Oh no, everybody. That's the problem. Like, it was well reviewed, well received. Like, and I think Paramount released it in theaters for a couple weeks, and but they didn't do any advertising for it. So they were basically just looking for streaming content. And we've gone through about 30 minutes. I haven't done my new ritual for the podcast, a shot of Malort. All right, down the edge there. That is something I'm kind of curious. Do they have Malort down in Lincoln?
Well, yeah, they got Malort everywhere, dude. We got a liquor store right down the street.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Like, when I go to Binny's to buy, Binny's, the Chicago chain, to buy my booze, or I know Friar Tuck started it, and they had it in Peoria eventually. No, you see, Malort is the drink that shows you're part of the Peoria, not Peoria, the Chicago wrestling scene. That's the rite of passage. If they invite you to, if the maid guys invite you to drink Malort, you've made it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had it, so I guess I've never made it.
Oh, you know its reputation, I presume.
Probably about the same as any other alcohol.
Oh, my friend Stephanie described it best. She tried it like before it got downstate. Because back when I was still living in Peoria, until it arrived at Friar Tuck, and I'd say that's close to 2014, 2015. Like whenever I'd go up to a wrestling show up in Chicago or a Cubs game, I would find a liquor store and buy a bottle and bring it back down. So I mean So I'm kind of surprised that your regular liquor store would carry it. That's all.
I've definitely seen it.
Yeah. Oh, and
Never
well, my friend Stephanie, she got it in Joliet, I think, like a week before she got married, and this is 2010-ish, yeah, 2010, and it may have been 2000, probably still 2000, no, 2010. And she said it smells of flowers, taste of rotten meat. So, and I think most people agree to it. And I was very proud of myself when I went to see L7 in Chicago back in October. One, they had the same bartender. Like I went up to see KMFDM, and then I see posters for the next weekend was L7. Best known for the song Shitless, probably. And from there, but I went up, I went and probably had 3 or 4 rounds of drinks. Bartender eventually knew what I was ordering: a screwdriver with Tito's and a shot of Malort. So then the next week I'm up there for L7, and somebody's like, oh, how'd you like the first act, the Fix, not the Fix, at the FX. Sorry, I bought their album. I mean, so I'm trying to support them. Great feminist message for the time. And she said, oh, have you seen, so you listen to Bikini Kill? And I showed my Bikini Kill shirt I got at Riot Fest a couple years. And she's trying to show me off to her friends, and I'm a dim little shit, so I didn't actually I guess I'm gonna hang out with them for the rest of the night. That's what I should have done. But I was able, she saw me get my drinks and saw me have a shot glass, and what's that? Oh, it's Malort. Have you ever had Malort? I think I have. Well, I'll be happy to buy you a shot of Malort. And before the bartender gave her the shot, she said, I need your phone because I need to record the reaction. So that, so it's worth a try. I'm going to tell you that. But most people do not like it.
Sounds like it.
So.
Sounds awful. Nothing you said has sold me on Malort.
Well, and it's not for me being a fan of it, it's just fun to get people. I felt like a real Chicagoan if you could trick somebody into doing a shot. So, it's been a while. I got the movie playing in my peripheral. I have it on DVD. So they're at Hoover DM,
it's
right?
A comedy classic.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's.
Of course.
It's one of those it took a while. I think this DVD, if I remember the trailers correctly, the trailers before this DVD were for really they only had one trailer, and it was for Nacho Libre, which I think is a good kids film, but okay, I won't pet your bum.
Never watched it.
Oh no, I saw it in the theater. A lot of people say it's stupid. I thought, it's for what it is, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was for kids, and so I never really watched it.
Oh yeah, no,
it just didn't seem like it was for me.
Oh right. So no, I got you. So basically, this is the 10-year DVD release, because back in the day when people were still wondering if DVD was going to be a thing, because Laserdisc didn't pick up. You didn't get a lot of special features, which is Yeah, so I bought a lot of I was a VHS guy for a long, just because, well, if I'm gonna buy a DVD, it better be loaded with features. So, um, but I'm just a note I documented. Movies do not treat hotel staff well, ever.
No.
And I say that like in Beavis and Butthead Do America, or when the concierge gets them to their room. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know you're a registered guest, trying to hump the mast of a faux ship at the I'm presuming they were at the Luxor. Uh like, oh, we didn't realize you were a registered guest. And then he's standing around expecting a tip and like, could you not be here? And it brings me back to Home Alone 2, where you have Rob Schneider always expecting a tip. Like, no, we're not that pretentious. I was in hospitality for a while. Usually I don't want to get a lot of money from a guest, because that means they're a shitty guest. They know they're going to wreck the room. They know, they at least they have the sense to know that we're going to have to clean, we're going to have to put extra work in for them. Like, so, let's see. Another thing, like, this movie, I don't know if
You
it
could
didn't
almost
have.
argue the people around Beavis and Butthead are dumber than Beavis and Butthead.
Well, they did it well by putting them with a bunch of senior citizens on a bus trip after. So I guess, we're 45 minutes in, and we might as well go over the plot. Beavis and Butthead
Beavis's monologue on the bus is one of the funniest things ever.
Yes. We're never going to score. Like, these people are these people are all older, but they've probably scored. Like, this lady here is a slut, and this guy's probably scored a million times. Oh yeah, it's never gonna happen.
Shut up back there.
Yes.
Shut up, ass white.
Yes. So it's basically, the movie starts with Beavis and Butthead getting robbed of their TV. The only thing they steal in the house is the TV. They're desperate to find a TV. They get expelled from the high school for trying to take the AV's club's TV. And so desperate, they start knocking around hotel rooms. Well, they go into Anderson's camper to watch TV, not knowing that all the soda in the refrigerator is warm, and they kill that TV. They go and inadvertently meet up with Muddy Grimes, voiced by Bruce Willis, who tells them, oh, you guys are young, but they said you were young, and I'm going to pay you $10,000 to do my wife, plus expenses. They want to still watch Beavis at least wants to watch some TV still. Muddy shoots the TV. Then we basically find out that Beavis and Butthead are mistaken for hitmen when they go to fly to Vegas after nearly crashing that plane. And again, the careful wording to get a PG-13. When Butthead rolls into the cockpit and lands on all the get out of the cockpit. You said get out. So they end up in Vegas, where they are tricked into getting on a tour bus with senior citizens to head to Washington by the wife, Dallas, who has in her possession a dangerous biological weapon. And basically, to make sure it's not on her hands, when Robert Stack and the ATF Buster sews it into Beavis and Butthead's pants. Beavis's pants. And of course, it's not a good case, so anything should set it off. And of course, Beavis is scratching his butt, Butthead's kicking his butt. And so I'm in the movie right now where they end up missing the bus playing with the urinals. And they end up on a bus full of nuns.
Yeah, this book's pretty cool, Butthead. There's a talking snake. It got a leaf on his
Schlong is schlong, yeah. Needless to say, after they
I
go,
don't even know why I rewatched this movie today. I already know it front to back. I've seen it so many times in my life.
I mean, I can't say I've seen it that many times. Again, I didn't buy the DVD until, I didn't buy the DVD until I ran across a copy at Disc Replay in Champaign. So, Beavis and Butthead eventually get knocked off the nuns' bus, and the nuns intended on that. Yeah, they gave some bad advice during the confessionals they were hiding in. So, well, they weren't hiding in the confessionals; they thought they were porta potties, and God smites them even. So, a thing I do again, another great moment with Robert Stack is the other agent Bork. Sir, do you remember the old man who said they were whacking off in his camper? Damn it, you're a federal agent, Bork. Don't ever end your sentence with a preposition. Do you remember the old man who owned the camper where they were whacking? That's good. So, not a lot of notes, honestly, for this one. Like the most recent movie I watched to do a podcast on was Under Siege. Had a lot of notes, but also like a lot of them were just documenting great try-hard movies. Movies that are obviously die-hard knockoffs, like Under Siege, Die Hard on a Boat.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot more notes to take. This is just the nuns are doing a little trot to get rid of Beavis and Butthead as they're at the Petrified Forest National Park. You might be wondering, how could word get this hard? And so yeah, that's
Hey, man, it's elementary school shit, but god damn it, it works on me every time.
Oh no, it was like I was talking about Under Siege, and my guest Andrew Teedy was just constantly saying it's an action movie. You have to shut your brain off. And Beavis and Butthead does not require you to flip that switch. It's not a challenging. It's not a challenging movie, and it's not a challenge. It's not a challenging show. It is all juvenile stuff, but if you nail the jokes right, like it goes back to Chasing Amy, where when Affleck was first trying to hit on dang it, I forgot that. Oh great, I feel like a bad Kevin Smith fan. He's Holden McNeil. Can't remember the name of
Holding my dick.
So yeah, there you go. I left a pause and you fill it in. That's what she said. All right. But no, Holden explaining why he writes Blunt Man and Chronic, and one day my grandma sat me down and said the real money is in dick and fart jokes. She was a church going woman. So
Whoa. No, you gotta be dumb as possible. Like I thought of a gimmick the other day for comedy that would probably make $1 million. You do the catchphrase, and that deserves a beer. Just print it on T-shirts and fucking koozies and shit. Do a mediocre act where you just say that after some dumb shit.
Oh,
Ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
that explains Donnie Baker. I swear to God, they did.
Thank God someone else said it. God damn, Donnie Baker sucks. He's okay on the radio. Okay,
Yeah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes
Yep.
at a time. But a
Yeah.
whole show for an hour, holy fucking shit, it sucks.
I hadn't seen it for an hour. It was the Bob and Tom All-Star tour at the Peoria Civic Center Theater. That was back when Roy Wood Jr. was still trying to make a name for himself. And then, Donnie Baker. And yeah, it's like, okay, so he's got a 15-20 minute set tops, and it sucks. So
yeah, but people love it, man. Old boomers love that shit.
And that's disturbing because it kind of makes you ponder. I'm a Gen Xer. It's like, so is Beavis and Butthead our Donnie Baker? You see,
man,
I mean,
I don't know. Mike Judge? Well, not anymore. I don't think Mike Judge exactly has a whole lot to do with Beavis and Butthead anymore. I think other people just write it now. But
well, I haven't watched the new stuff. I imagine he still does because
I don't. Beavis and Butthead has a little bit of brains behind it.
Oh no, but it's a real. Well, the brains is a realization that we're doing stupid stuff. I think Donnie Baker is just, well, as you say, it's just simple catchphrase. I swear to God, Randy, and we all know a guy like that. Somebody who thinks they're the class clown. It's like, no, you're not. Like, usually they're a fat kid. I'm gonna say that.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's actually a joke we made it, me and my I'm spilling it. I haven't done anything too bad to this guy. My travel buddy back from Peoria, before I got hooked up with Danny Daniels. Raul Salazar, sinister. Like he basically had a DUI, so basically he wanted to travel, hit the road territories and everything, and I'd drive him. But drinking, like, after putting up with all his bullshit in the car, drinking at the bar with Jester Scott Bishop. So the thing that got him and Bishop into wrestling in the Peoria scene was basically they were both body piercers at I'm No Angel Tattoo, and they did funny commercials on 105.7 the X.
I think I remember those. I think I've seen Bishop. No, it's probably different. Bishop
Scott,
a black guy?
No, he's white. He's a ginger.
Okay, no, there's a different Bishop I saw then.
Oh no, there's plenty of Bishops in wrestling.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, no. So, but we're talking, and it's like, oh gosh, well, and Bishop, who's 10 years my senior, and would have been. If he's 10 years my senior, 4 years Raul's senior. It's like, he's just a funny fat kid. Hell of a carny though. I will give Raul that much credit. So I got the movie again in my peripheral. We are in the desert, and Beavis and Butthead have ran into the former Motley Crue roadies, where David Letterman plays the big guy. The Butthead.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. And
I remember seeing his name in the credits, but I could never put my finger on who he was.
Yeah. So Butthead. So yeah, Letterman showed up on an episode of Beavis and Butthead when Beavis and Butthead were going into the AV club. Join the AV club, and so they wanted to do David Letterman. Yeah. So it still makes you wonder who I know we it's just screwy, the continuity. Like, we know Beavis's mom is around somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know anything about Butthead aside from until this movie. And lost track who. Oh, Mike Judge. That's who I was going to try searching for.
Oh, they did grow up on that same couch though, but they're not related.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, according to the yeah, we were in this toilet called Highland, and I scored 2 chicks. Yeah. No, you didn't score with any chicks. Cool. Are those
Butthead's character? How he would just take credit for everything. He's the producer of the.
Yes. Oh, there's a good Ren and Stimpy about that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I made that joke. I stole it from Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Essentially. You get to be the producer, Ren.
You just sit around and take all the credit.
Yeah, they were making the whatever cartoon.
Yeah,
that's another good one. Why wasn't there ever a Ren and Stimpy movie?
Because it kept bouncing between creatives. Once they got rid of John Krefalowski, so let's see. I'm looking over Mike Judge. So Tales from the Tour, but Mike Judge is basically just doing stuff to have fun. In all honesty.
Oh,
that's his IMDb.
I've never seen anything of his that I hated, though.
Yeah, no. I haven't seen enough.
Idiocracy is pretty solid. I mean, it's kind of low budget, and I kind of heard it.
Oh, that's why I didn't get it.
That's why
it didn't get a good release, was because this is just nobody's gonna get it. There's nothing exciting. So no,
kind of ahead of time too, because it came out in like 2000s, didn't it?
Yeah, no, Idiocracy was 2006. So this was just after. So that was just by the end of the. Well, it wasn't the end. It was kind of the end of that nationalism bit that the Republicans wrote on. So it made sense to release it, but it was more of a retrospective, not a prediction of the future. I think
Silicon Valley is really funny too. If you've ever seen that,
I have not.
Two of my favorite scenes in comedy ever when they go to this church and when they bite pills off the kids.
I have a Colt Cabana's comedy partner, Marty DeRosa. So 2020, I was up at C2E2, and so afterwards I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend, the Allie of Allie's Accessory Shops on Etsy's Trash Feature Review. That's just we went to see. So one of the podcasts I listened to, and Allie enjoyed listening to it just because of how goofy they were, was Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. They're currently on a hiatus, and that's probably a good thing. That probably means they're making money. And then though Marty was dealing with a lot of depression, but he's got a dying dad right now, so yeah, I get it. And he lost his best friend, so yeah. But he like his first podcast was called Wrestling with Depression. If you want to see some Marty DeRosa stuff, he's done a couple of comedy series on YouTube with Colt Cabana, called Creative Has Nothing for You. And I think Worst Promo Ever, where if you ever heard the jumpin' Jim Farmer promo, it's something to look up. Like it is the worst promo ever. And then for kicks, because Cabana was still friends with Punk. Cabana was still friends with Punk at the time. He had Punk recite that promo word for word. But yeah, Creative Has Nothing for You, though, was a great series with that was done right after Cabana got fired from WWE. Like, so yeah. No, Silicon Valley. That was just a classic victim of the Me Too movement in the end. Because T.J. Miller, which he's done some reprehensible things, but he's a nutcase to his credit. And then I'm surprised the other guy didn't get.
One of the funniest things.
And I'm kind of surprised the other
The
guy.
other guy.
The other guy who.
What other guy?
Thomas Middleditch. He kind of was able to bounce off a Me Too accusation pretty well. But
yeah, Chris Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick had an ex-girlfriend.
No, there's a podcast I listen to called Legion of Skanks. They do a live show from the stand when TJ Miller was playing pinball. They had one of their interns go up and unplug the pinball machine on him.
Oh, jeez, I don't.
It was funny. He was pissed.
Well, as I say, he's a genuine nut. I mean, and I shouldn't say nut. He has mental imbalances, but and he's done stupid, and his stupid thing.
Brain tumors.
No, I don't think it was a brain tumor, but he was I don't know. He definitely like it's to the point where like, okay, you have a problem. Are you going to work to live with the problem, or are you going to still be a douchebag?
Well, I mean, he's no Chris D'Elia, so
Chris D'Elia, which I'm surprised the guy's still touring, as far as I know, and still, I mean.
Somebody on my Facebook posted pictures of themselves at his show, and all the seats were just empty around them.
Oh, that's weird, because as I say, he's like Peoria Civic Center has a if you go from if you're going to go to the primary box office and you go from the theater to it, you see a wall of all the people who have played the Civic Center, and like they haven't taken Chris D'Elia down. I should look, because I saw Bill Cosby live at the Civic Center, so I'll have to take a look next time I go see the Rivermen while they're still in Peoria, at least.
It was just funny. Chris D'Elia must be 18.
There's a funny thing though. One night at the hotel I worked at in Peoria, the Mark Twain, which I loved. It got me into hospitality, but the problem with hospitality is the ownership has to want to make a great place. And you don't get that in most small towns. And last time I was at the Mark Twain, I got a tattoo done from my guy knows at Twisted Vision Tattoos in Peoria Heights. And I mean, the place is still nice as hell, but they've definitely let I got kind of dicked over by the new management of the place. Like, I got a full-time position, quit my day job, and then, oh yeah, we can't let you drive the car. So, eventually became a night auditor, and that ended up being hell for the first couple years living down in Champaign-Urbana, because, oh, you work night audit, then you're going to work night audit here at a crappier hotel where the owner is just built it for his own ego. That would be the iHotel. So I've buried them before. Like, I wrote a blog before AEW came to Champaign. Like, look, I know it's right across the street. Don't stay at the iHotel. It's a piece of garbage. Yeah. So by this point, Beavis and Butthead have made it to Washington. Muddy was able to find them in the desert, which, I thought for a moment it was good seeing the animated sequence, the Rob Zombie animated sequence. Because I heard Rob Zombie's name, but like the imagery in it is like, oh, that's very much old Coop stuff, I think. But no, watch it closely. No, it's Rob Zombies, and you wonder why the guy hasn't done more of that stuff. Like, like I know he did an animated movie, which is just crazy, but it was crazy enough to make me think that, well, maybe he could do the Munsters.
Yeah, I still say that shit looked like a softcore porno.
Yeah, and it's rated PG of all things.
No, I did
No.
see some of that Wednesday with my fiance though.
I've heard
Right.
good things about that.
Oh no, you lost me when you gave her superpowers.
Well, I haven't watched that much of it, but when you got Fester who can do the light bulb gimmick, I can't really be too angry.
They
Oh,
like it's a fucking Adam's Family Harry Potter is what it is.
well, I mean, it's got to be better than the animated movies.
I don't know. I didn't see it. Those ones in the '90s were pretty dope though.
Yeah. Oh no, everybody loves that. I thought the first one is overrated. The second one is gold. There's no argument about that.
It
So
really is, dude.
So no, there was a Rob Zombie. I think he probably wrote the comic book for it, but there was a animated movie he did called "The Haunted World of El Super Beasto."
Oh yeah, I had a couple issues of that.
Yeah, and the animated translation is all right. I mean, all the voice actors are just going for broke. Like it's the most obnoxious Rosario Dawson you'll ever come across.
Yeah, it's really over the top. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
that DVD. I bought it at a GameStop, I think.
yeah. Back then, yeah. No, I mean, the good old days where everybody was buying and selling. But with physical media going out and like, oh, it kills me at my retailer when it's like, oh no, I'll take the digital edition of the PlayStation 5. I like physical media, so when I buy it and I don't like it, I know there's a chance I can get rid of it.
Yeah,
So,
not so much anymore.
well, I mean, do I own a lot of digital video games? I own a few for my Switch, and I bought a few on the PlayStation 4. I haven't done it on the Xbox yet. I'm not the Xbox. I did, truthfully, I probably did a lot on the Xbox. But Xbox, it was nice when you had the Xbox Gold and you had games with gold and you didn't have to have a subscription to play them. On my PlayStation 5, I get
Game Pass subscription, dude.
well, I
Game Pass
don't.
is where it's at.
I'm not an Xbox guy. I'm like those earbuds that were giving me trouble. I'm a Sony loyalist. Like my famous story of Sony is when I found out that the PlayStation 3 they were going to stop making them backwards compatible with the 2 and the 1. It's like, well then I'm going to buy myself an Xbox 360 if I'm going to buy a new system. I was a big Wii guy. I'm a big Nintendo guy. As I say, I'm elitist. Switch is the best system out there. I'll just say it. But then it's like, oh, I got like this is coming off a my bankruptcy, and it's like I got a Finger Hut offer, and it's like, well, I'll get myself a Blu-ray player because that's the only reason I'd get a PlayStation 3. And what brand was my Blu-ray player? That's Sony, so I can't win with those guys. So that's yep, that's my electronic story there. So Beavis and Butthead have gotten to Washington. They've already left the Capitol and they've already did the speech. But it's funny. So the old slut, as Beavis would call her, is voiced by Cloris Leachman, and honestly, it's a pretty good performance from her. You don't know it because she shows up as an old woman in a lot of children's movies, voice wise.
Yeah.
And it's like that was crazy though, especially, and this is back in the time where marijuana is the worst because after the speech, it's like, oh, Travis, you can't get yourself worked up like that. I think I have something to help. Does this bottle say Xanax? Like she was gonna kill Beavis if that worked out. So that's just a little note. Um, Again though, it just further like I am okay. Yes, 3,000 people died, but I'm more pissed off that we can't have this silly security stuff anymore because of 9/11.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a screwed up world, like where. But here's something about Beavis and Butthead, the movie. So like you open it with the entire Godzilla scene. Hey, baby, I'm like really tall. And but it's like, oh, it almost makes you wonder if they put too much effort into this because it's a big movie. Like everything looks so much more grand. As I said, you can actually see shadows and shading in the Beavis and Butthead house. And then I'm watching the credits for this movie, and it's like, oh, those poor Korean animators. What were they thinking as they're doing this movie?
You thought about this way more than I did. Like, the new one opens up and they had a coffee table, and I was like, "Holy shit, they got a coffee table now!" It really started moving up.
So,
I will say though, it is kind of neat how it fucking starts off with them like, "This is why we weren't around for all these years."
well, as I say, I don't have Paramount Plus, so I haven't.
I
And I
didn't
would.
either. I've been meaning to get it. I've been wanting to watch it for a while. Like I said, I'm a Beavis and Butthead fan. I want to see the new stuff.
Well, and no, and
Not
I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay $10 to $20 to watch the exclusive South Park's Paramount Plus got. So it's like,
oh, those are
hey,
exclusive. I didn't know they were exclusive.
so after COVID, and I think they did a couple of after COVID stuff that was solely for Paramount Plus. I mean, because HBO Max still had all the episodes from the 25th season, which is only a 6-episode season, which is kind of a letdown. I mean, but I can't blame him. Like, how long do Trey and Matt actually want to be stuck doing South Park? Especially once they started doing continuity. So there's
Yeah,
Butthead meeting Chelsea Clinton. I noticed you have braces. I have braces too. So, and that was something I always worried back in junior high. Like I had a girlfriend for a week in junior high, but I was always little worried because I had braces at the time. And yeah, honestly, braces are no big deal. At least from a sexual standpoint, because I knew I was messing around with a stripper in Peoria who had braces. But I don't know what it would be like to have braces and braces action. So I just kind of that's where I got my mind. I could get to the gutter occasionally. So,
yeah, I
but
wouldn't know. I'm not. I don't have braces.
did you ever have braces, or because I know? I mean,
What? No,
okay,
no, I've never had braces.
it's Central Illinois. I get it. um, Again, I grew up in a town where you're expected to look the role, be sophisticated. Like we have the nicest trailer park in the area. The meth lab I lived up above for briefly in 2006. You know, that was right in the middle of town because there's no shitty place to put it. So it's almost like hiding in plain sight.
So, do you think they exclusively masturbate on Tom Anderson's property?
Uh, I mean, that's quite the
Because it
routine.
almost seems like it. It seems.
I know.
It really seems like.
No, I mean, that just seems quite the routine.
I mean, there is school chat an awful lot. It sounds like.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we're at that scene where Beavis is. Oh,
Who
and I
the
forgot
ones
it.
that's been whacking it? Not me.
But no, we're at the scene where Beavis has finally gotten into the camper with Dallas's picture, and he's doing. And I failed to realize it in my most recent watch. I know I caught it back the other times I've watched it. Like he's doing a pan down, picture camper, picture camper, picture camper, picture camper, picture camper, picture camper, Washington Memorial camper. Like. That is the dumbest of the monuments, I think, in all of Washington. It's the Washington Monument.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Well, I don't think it's lame. Like, I like the idea that it's just a more of a statement, but no, it's a big dick joke. Like, did Martha tell them something when they were designing it? Like, maybe I'm just saying maybe George had the equipment and that's a perfect representation. But I think if the Washingtons
Nobody
had,
had the equipment to build that.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
No, I don't know. It's still a compensation joke regardless. So, yeah. And again, like this is stuff that you would like. There's so many YouTube channels where they like have people break down why this isn't realistic. But somehow I would not be surprised if pre 9/11 you could just park across the street in a camper from the White House.
Yeah, true. I hate those YouTube videos, by the way.
No, I don't know.
Watches fucking this dude just takes these children's cartoons entirely too seriously.
Oh no, you
It's
can't
like,
do it.
Man, let these kids enjoy their cartoons for fuck's sake.
No, I don't watch them breaking down kids movies. I like channels like Legal Eagle where it's like, oh, I'm going to watch an episode of Law and Order and break it down, or Dr. Mike.
No,
but then I see stuff like
he watches.
Like, no, I mean, and I'm almost curious to watch like an SAS captain tells us the accuracy of war movies, and it's like, no, we know they're inaccurate. Like we were like when I did the Under Siege podcast, we were very proud to say, yeah, the guns look stupid, and we don't even want to get into the welding stuff. But hey, they at least showed that grenades don't explode. I mean, don't go up in fireballs.
Well, I mean, that makes more sense, though. I mean, but Dante watches ones where it's like Sunny for a Chance of Meatballs, and he's all, well, this wouldn't happen. Well, no shit. It's a fucking cartoon, man.
Yeah, no, that one's ridiculous. That would be ridiculous.
Meatballs are falling from the sky.
I don't know. Like, I don't have kids, thankfully. I mean, I say thankfully because one, I'm an overgrown child. I'll acknowledge that.
Dude, the YouTube videos kids watch are stupid, man.
But that's just it. It's like
you're down here watching commercials, man.
No,
commercials, straight up watching commercials.
I know. Well, and I don't know. It's like I don't want to be accusatory. It's like why is the kid watching YouTube anyhow? I just
that's what TV is now.
I mean, there's
TV is. It's YouTube.
You could put Pluto TV on. It's free. As I say, I don't know. Like my best friend had
I came into it.
Oh, okay. I can't. No, I can't blame it there. I don't know. Again, like for me, it's like don't it's trying to date at
Sure, so
40.
my baby was Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s.
Damn
She's gonna
fucking
learn how
right.
to
Oh right.
understand the narrative.
Yes. Yeah. No. You're fucking right
Right,
there.
you're right.
So
Ask her what Ric Flair said. Go ahead, see what happens. Ask her what Ric Flair says. Tell me I'm not raising her right.
no. As long as she knows that my shoes are worth more than your house. I'm a limousine riding, jet flying,
Oh yeah,
wheeling dealing. Granted, like that's more stuff that pisses me off about wrestling is like, all right, it's good that Marty Scurll's working AAA now, so maybe he'll get back to the American scene. And it's like,
I just want my baby to yell at somebody that her shoes cost more than their house.
yes,
And
no, and
proud.
I think that's, and you know what, man, I think that's what all parents should strive for. I mean, it's
rules a picture in my head. It's fucking awesome.
yeah, no, I mean, it's telling you, it's giving your kids that knowledge that you have to. Well, again, I hate Ric Flair just because he's a sex offender who got away with it, essentially. But no, like this is the added well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be a kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying son of a bitch. Because I mean,
the gimmick at those times, though.
yeah. Well, that was like, to be. I don't know. That's just nuts. The '80s, especially the territories.
Living that gimmick for that long definitely warped his brain, man.
Oh no, but he didn't catch on to the fact that you're living the gimmick because promoters are paying for the gimmick. Once they stop paying for it, settle the fuck down. So yeah, it's that's
oh no, man, it'd be pretty cool to be a player.
Right. Okay, look, my bankruptcy is because I was paying for somebody's heroin addiction because I couldn't stand to see them suffer. But I will tell you right away, otherwise I had the attitude that spend the money, like before that stuff went down, I had the attitude of spend the money now, I'm going to make it big. I'll make it back. And Cody Rhodes even says that, like, spend it now and make it back later. Which no is not.
Yeah, dude, you take it with you.
Well, no, I agree with that. Like, when I think about, oh, geez, if I could, it's morbid thoughts, and it's like, I stop and like, oh, all my financial problems would be taken care of. Something like this happened, and it's like, no, fuck that. Mom and dad should spend all the money, and I shouldn't get a damn cent. That's their money. Spend it when they want it. So I hope they do that. But my dad's a smart person, and my mom will be a penny pincher the moment. So no, there'll be money, but it's not like, no, there shouldn't be money. It's not mine. Especially when they, like, I don't know, I was probably a bad investment for my parents. 2 wrestling camps in University of Iowa. Those aren't cheap, being trained by Dan Gable. Like, I can say I was
like Titus said, man, you came out and you stomped on all of their dreams.
Did you say what Titus said?
Yeah, Christopher Titus.
Yes,
joke.
no, yeah, I got it. I was just making sure. Yeah, that sounds like a Christopher. So, otherwise, with this movie, the credits are playing right now. I see that Eric Bogosian did some voices on it. And I don't know if a lot of people know who Eric Bogosian is. Like, he's primarily a theater actor, but he's like a weird, creepy looking guy. Have you seen Under Siege 2 Dark Territory?
Not in a long time.
Well, you know the bad guy, right? The computer nerd.
Kinda.
Well, as I say, I think that's like the only, like, Eric Bogosian, like, I know he's done a lot of movies. It's just like, I think his I don't know if I'm ever gonna do I after the Under Siege podcast, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do a Under Siege 2 Dark Territory.
Nah, dude, there's better Steven Seagal movies, man. Like Marked for Death.
Marked for Death is my favorite Steven Seagal movie. It is so I'm not gonna say it's a good movie because it's just so silly.
Dude, I enjoy it. I like those old Steven Seagal movies, dude. Those old full action movies are my favorite.
No, I was talking with Andrew TD over that. And he was saying his favorite might be Above the Law, which is basically the blood sport of Steven Seagal. Like, he's making all this shit up. But
yeah, that's a good one.
No, I'd say like he had 4 great ones in his original run. And that's Above the Law, Marked for Death, Hard to Kill, Under Siege, and then it went all this shit. He had had some success being a rap star in rap star movies, but no.
Yeah, he's been doing the straight to DVD thing for a while.
Well,
now they just shoot him from like the neck up, and he's always a sniper.
Right. Well, I've seen him in. I saw one of the movie he did with Steve Austin. I can't remember the name of it. And I've seen the one that was supposed to be him versus vampires called Against the Dark, which was a total oh gosh, how do you mess that up? With that said, since I don't know. After
Chuck Norris did it, I mean, you can't top that. The Chuck Norris Hellbound movie or whatever it's called.
You see,
Chuck Norris just fights the devil.
I hadn't seen that one. I kind of tuned out after Sidekicks when it comes to Chuck Norris.
You gotta see that one. That's a good one. Dude, you gotta see the fucking Chuck Norris Hell movie.
No, as I say,
I haven't seen this since I was like 15.
Which tells you like he had a great run with Cannon, and truthfully, like, his movies with Cannon are some of the most misogynistic stuff.
Dude, Missing in Action is good.
I'm sorry. No, Missing in Action is funny just because
Missing in Action that was good.
I like Missing. My favorite's probably Braddock, Missing in Action 3, but Missing in Action, basically the story behind that one is they heard that Stallone was doing Rambo 2. So it's like Canon is, the label was basically, they were the type of people who'd go to Cannes to sell movies solely based on posters without scripts. They like come up with some cool artwork, sell the movie based solely on the poster design, and then write the movie.
Oh yeah, Full Moon does that to this day.
Full Moon though Full Moon still seems to have a little more class than and never mind the fact, once you come up with Puppet Master, you don't have to really make a poster or a script. Just put the puppets back in another movie. But no, that is the story behind.
Yeah, use those old clips again. We can make 7 other movies out of these.
Oh yeah, well, Roger Corman did that too. So, like, if you ever see Galaxy of Terror, which was like all the set design was done by James Cameron, and looks pretty cool. It's all right. Sid Haig's in it. and then there's another movie, Forbidden World, where Roger Corman produced it still, and he ripped off like space battles from Battle the Stars, Amongst the Stars, something like that, and he's took a lot of stuff from that Galaxy of Terror that James Cameron designed and just reused it for this Alien knockoff, which honestly is a fun Alien knockoff, but an Alien knockoff nonetheless. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a Beavis and Butthead Do America. That's really a nice little nostalgia trip. I mean, it's 2 thumbs up by Siskel and Ebert. Like, I mean, it's just the most juvenile comedy done right. You don't, not a lot of.
It really is.
I mean, there's some builds. Well, no, everything is funny all the time in this movie. But what's more rewarding is when you get all this build, and then when you get a bunch of build, despite you having a bunch of funny jokes going on anyhow, like Cornholio. You can't help but laugh every moment Beavis is in Cornholio mode. And then you get a punchline like him looking at the Nixon poster, not the Nixon painting. Are you threatening me? That is Beavis and Butthead. And Mike Judge had the beauty, like, I think the series stopped, I want to say, hopefully 98, could have been 99.
I don't know, that sounds right.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I mean, there we go. Mike Judge.
It was gone for a while and it came back.
Yeah,
run.
And no, I don't see him doing. Well, he's the executive producer on the new series, so he's still getting the credit. But yeah, director, Beavis and Butthead. So they say 1993 to 2011, I guess, is the original series, because they don't count I guess they count the new series separate.
Huh.
But they didn't count
I guess they do that with Doctor Who too.
That's true.
Like 50th anniversaries and whatnot. Like, wait a minute, wasn't this show gone for like 20 years?
Right. Well, hey, it's and we talked about it on the Boondock Saint podcast. Not the Boondock Saint podcast. No, that's not going to happen. I can't make the equation work. The first movie is a little on the long side, and Troy Duffy doesn't do other movies. Like, we're trying to, like, I was talking to Andrew. It's like, you want to talk about Tombstone, which is too long for my podcast, but George P. Cosmatos directed Cobra, First Blood Rambo, First Blood Part 2. And he directed Tombstone. And pretty much everybody knows that he doesn't actually direct movies. He basically facilitates the actor's whims. Like, everybody pretty much says Kurt Russell directed Tombstone. And Cobra, I think you could say Cosmatos directed that just because Stallone was too busy screwing around with Bridget Nielsen to actually give a shit about the movie. So well, when it comes to doing a wrestling podcast, I think that's something to hold hostage, is behind a Patreon. I don't know. I just got to come up with more time, I suppose. Like, today has been dedicated, like the entire day has been dedicated to recording podcasts.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, Gregory, you got anything online you want to promote?
No, not a damn thing.
All right. So, if you need to get a wrestling fix, there is the Mud Show podcast. I know it's on Spotify, easy to find there. Otherwise, as it comes to 90 for Chill, the podcast,
I haven't done an episode of that for fucking ever.
No, I know that. As I say, it's you're looking for a wrestling fix. So we're talking, you're going to your third or fourth dealer because you're not up to date.
Oh, I'm way behind those.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's still
dead.
it's still
podcast.
wrestling talk if you need it. It's got to be better than Cornette.
No.
Oh, I don't even.
No way. No way is my.
Well, it's just more of a statement. It's got to be better than Russo. Russo's tried a few times. So
Podcast. Look up the Mud Show.
all right, but when it comes to 90 for Chill, you can please rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Things were probably going to be changing around March because Podbean only lets me put 100 episodes of my feed onto my feed on your big apps like Spotify and Apple. So I'm probably gonna have to find a new home. So I don't know how the feed's gonna work. But if you want to be on the podcast before all the changes happen, send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Offer me a movie, a director, a theme, an actor. As long as you try to focus on sub 100-minute material, I'm sure we can come up with a slice of fried gold. But as I was,
Or chill, good movie podcast.
I'm sorry?
A good movie podcast.
Well, thank you.
This show is better than the Mud Show also.
Well, I had before the Mud Show was around, I probably had 75 episodes of practice. So it takes time to get your thing right. So it's almost like, yeah, it sucks I can't hear episodes 1 through 19 on Apple, but were they really that great? So I could kind of appreciate not having those available, but what am I supposed to do? Get a payroll wall? So,
yeah, it's a shame. I think the best stuff me and Alistair ever did was the stuff that I lost on the computer.
Right. Yeah, that's a risk. I mean, it had a great episode about Spaceballs, and there was a miscommunication and lost half the audio. But otherwise, if you want to, as I say, rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps, I will reciprocate 5-star reviews. My username on Apple is Scoop Saley. Otherwise, if you want to talk shit about the show, follow me on Twitter or just go to my Twitter account. It's at CatBusRuss. I'll take that heat over political drama any day. And thank you, Stacia Hardin, still being my inspiration. I'm doing my best to pay homage to her memory. And I hope she's still keeping an eye over all the people she touched in her life. So, but that's going to sum it up. I got my ex girlfriend Allie. She's talking about, if you want me on the show, offer me a movie. It's like, that's not how no, I want to know what you want, but it's getting busy here, so that's a good thing. And thank you for all your support. Keep rating and subscribing. So thank you again, Gregory. I can't fault your taste at all. You haven't let me down yet, which kind of makes me think the only time I let you down was when I said, oh, we're going to do James Gunn. So.
No, that wasn't a letdown.
Well, you had to watch Super again, so. All right.
But did I actually watch Super again?
Well, look, the worst episode I did was somebody like, oh, everybody wanted to do Doom, and then one person canceled, the other person was good. Tattoo Squid podcast, a good show. Great, just character study, nerd stuff. And then Trash Panda podcast, good guys, fun show to listen to, but he did not watch the movie, so it's like, oh shit. So this is just a circle jerk of podcasts. So, but all right. Well, thanks again, Gregory, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, you too, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Can I hear a wahoo?